Hey guys, how's it going? Today is Mario's birthday! Happy 35th birthday to Mario. Super Mario has been going on for like about 30 years. That is unbelievable. So this is a little bit of an odd thing for me to do, but to celebrate it, I'm actually going to look at a video, because I've actually seen a lot of videos complaining about the Super Mario 3D All-Stars pack, and I do see a lot of their points, but I do want to address all of those points. So in this response, I'm going to be using this particular YouTuber's. His name is Twip. So if you guys don't know who Twip is basically he's a news reporter on particular video games, specifically Mario and Sonic video games. He doesn't just do like news and like rumored videos, but he also does like reactions, reviews, and yeah, not gonna lie, he's actually pretty good at it. So I just wanted to clarify, this isn't going to be a rant video, this isn't going to be like Misanthropony's videos, it's not going to be like that, because in a way, I kind of like Twip. I do like Twip. I think he's very reasonable, he seems like a really nice guy, and you know, he's just really good at what he does. But I'm using his videos specifically because I've heard a lot of people complain about the Mario 3D All-Stars pack, and I do feel like some of the points, I want to like address some of those points and give my opinions on why some of those criticisms aren't really big things to be complaining about, but a lot of people do seem to have the assumption that these are like big problems, which I don't really think that. I don't really think that these are a lot of problems. They may be issues for sure, but I don't think a lot of these are legit problems to actually make the games worse. So, without the way, this is it. This is my reply to Twip's video, and also just remember to keep in mind that this isn't targeted directly at Twip, but also to a lot of other people who are complaining about the Mario 35th anniversary. So, here we go. This is Twip. And Twip, if you're watching, top of the morning to you.
So I want to discuss why this game has just got so many flaws, and why this is probably the worst case scenario for this collection, and why overall it's just a disaster. So the first thing, of course, is the fact that we don't have Super Mario Galaxy 2. A lot of people saw this coming, including me, but I've just got to add this. If they're gonna call their game Super Mario 3D All-Stars, then it's a really strange omission to just discard Super Mario Galaxy 2 from that collection, when I would argue it's even better than the original game, and it was just as well received. Literally, look on Metacritic, just as well received as the original game. Why not include it? If you're porting Galaxy 1, what difference could Galaxy 2 make?
Now, I definitely agree with him and definitely see his point on this view. So it does seem odd for them not to release Super Mario Galaxy 2 with the system. But have you ever thought about this way? The thing is, Super Mario Galaxy 2 is played the same way as the first Super Mario Galaxy game, just with added in Yoshi. So we don't even know if we're gonna like it how it is on the Switch. So if we don't like it on the Switch, with the gameplay style of the Switch, do you really want to play the same game again, possibly even more awkward, with Yoshi? I mean, again, this is only really like what I think, but maybe they might add in, like, you know, to like a collection or something. Like maybe they might add it in later on. Maybe they just want to see how Super Mario Galaxy is played first, and if people do like the gameplay, so they can get an idea of, like, you know, if we should release it or not. But at the moment, like, we don't really have Galaxy 2. It is a bit of a shame, I will admit, it is a bit of a shame, but I do actually look at this in a way that's like, maybe we could get it if Galaxy does play well on the Switch, because we don't even know how the gameplay is going to be played out first.
The thing that annoys me the most about this whole thing is Super Mario 64. At least I expected widescreen. What I really expected with this game was the exact same everything as the original, the same graphics, same everything, same music, but just in widescreen and in 1080p. But we didn't even get that. We got 720p 4:3. What? Are you kidding me? So the game looks the same as it did back then. Yep, the internal resolution is a bit higher. Great. But you can't even do 1080p? Really? So the game doesn't really look great, and it really does look like they put in the most minimal effort as humanly possible for 64, which is really sad because it's one of the most important video games of all time. It would have been really cool just to give that a good update somewhat.
Now, I definitely see his point again. I definitely see his point that like, you know, and I do agree that, you know, the widescreen thing would have actually made Super Mario 64 look better. But again, I don't really think this is actually like a huge issue. Like, it's still going to be played the same way, like even without widescreen or not. And it has actually expanded the aspect ratio. And if you really do think about it, even though 720 isn't really as good as 1080, 720 is still quite good, I will admit. 720 is still quite good.
So the game doesn't really look great, and it really does look like they put in the most minimal effort as humanly possible for 64, which is really sad because it's one of the most important video games of all time. It would have been really cool just to give that a good update somewhat. Maybe the Odyssey engine, maybe just the widescreen stuff, anything to make it look better and feel better than it does now, because the game is dated. The game doesn't control the best. You could have easily have updated these kind of things to make it more accessible for people to play.
Well, the thing is that, you know, yeah, the game does look dated, but it's better to actually like, you know, something that, you know, the Disney movies and the Warner Brothers cartoons did is they actually had celebrities saying that this is a product of this time.
But removing these inexcusable images and jokes from this collection would be the same as saying they never existed. So they are presented here to accurately reflect a part of our history that cannot and should not be ignored.
And it would look really cool, but we do actually get a high resolution of this game. And, you know, it is still a pretty good game. And the only thing I've really asked for with Mario 64 is just, you know, better gameplay, better controls, and a better camera. You know, I'm not expecting, like, the aspect ratio or the graphics to be improved in any way. As long as, like, you know, the camera and the gameplay is improved, then that's all I really asked.
And speaking of Sunshine, a big deal breaker for me right now is the fact that you cannot use a GameCube controller for the game, despite the fact that the Switch physically supports GameCube controllers and you can use them in Smash Brothers with their analog triggers and everything. If that game can support it, why can't Sunshine?
Now that is a bit of an odd thing to do, but what you also have to remember is that Nintendo want to give a new experience of gameplay. And also another thing is also, even though with Sunshine it's a bit questionable, but you would also need to do it for like 64 and Galaxy, which probably won't work the same way with the GameCube controller. So if they have to import the GameCube controller to Sunshine, then they would have to do it with 64 and Galaxy. And could you actually imagine playing Galaxy like that on the GameCube controller? I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to do that. Again, like, you know, it does give the option of the choice and stuff, and it is a new way to experience it. But again, it's, like I said before, it's a new way of gameplay. You know, they want to have the audience to experience a new way of gameplay with the Switch controller instead of the GameCube controller.
Galaxy, the caveat is that the game doesn't even run at 1080p at all times. It's a dynamic resolution. If you look at the specifications, it goes up to 1080p in docked mode, up to 720p in handheld mode. And you're gonna tell me that this is the cutscenes? No, it's not. They are being like redone. They're internal now. They have the internal games. They've got the source code. These are ports. So the cutscenes are matching the current resolution of the gameplay itself. So that's not it at all. It's the game not being able to run at 1080p at all times. A Nintendo Wii game from 2007 cannot run at 1080p at all times on Nintendo's newest console.
But again, that's not really like a huge issue that would actually dour the enjoyment of the game. If you really want to, I mean, like, you know, the gameplay is still going to be, you know, the same. The gameplay is still going to be the same, and it is the same game. But, like, it's not really an excuse to just say that, oh yeah, the resolution's not going to be, like, fully 1080p in order to make your enjoyment of the game any less.
And then of course, you've got that limited time release nonsense where the game is being cut off in March, and the only reason, and I'm banking on this to happen, this is exactly what's going to happen, they are going to release them separately, but the prices individually are going to add up to more than $60, meaning they are just wanting to make more money from you. I reckon that 64 will be at least $15, and I think Sunshine and Galaxy will be $30 a piece, so they'll be making even more money from you.
I definitely agree with him about the limited time release. I mean, it is odd to do that, but you also remember that they also did this with the Super Mario All-Stars pack. And with the Super Mario All-Stars pack, they've released that time and time again. They're even releasing it again on the Switch. So, you know, they're releasing it time and again, and maybe this might be the same with the 3D All-Stars, that they might actually consider releasing them more and more times.
And I think the whole $60 thing is also really unfair, and I know people have heard this comparison before, but yeah, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro did remake 3 games from the ground up for $40. So why is it fair that we're paying $60 for the same games but with a resolution increase?
Well, if you really think about it, I mean, even though the $60 does seem a bit too much for games that we've already played, what you also have to remember is this. Crash and Spyro, the years that they came out, didn't have a financial crash. No, they didn't have a pandemic going on. And businesses have really been affected from the coronavirus, especially Nintendo. So the $60 could be a way for them to boost up their sales. Again, like, you know, the $60 thing definitely seems really odd, but again, I'm willing to pay for it. I'm willing to pay for it, and in the UK it's like 50 quid. But again, I'm willing to pay that much. I don't care.
Crash remade the first 3 games from the ground up. From the very ground up. So why can't we get anything for this? Like, you're gonna tell me that Crash is using the same engine for all 3 games? Okay, then remake 1 game in the collection, 64. Why couldn't have that been done? They've got the Odyssey engine. Why couldn't they have just remade the levels in the Odyssey engine? How long could that have possibly have took?
Because like I said before, maybe that they, because pretending it never happened is a much worse crime to pretending it didn't happen. Like, again, I would have liked to have seen the Odyssey engine made in 64. I think that would have looked incredible, and the gameplay would have flowed really well. But, again, like, I'm not really disappointed that the fact that the graphics are going to, like, dower my enjoyment of the game.
Don't get me wrong, I am at least grateful for that. But honestly, I don't really like using grateful as a term when you're the consumer buying the product. I feel like we have a right to, like, critique and call out stuff that we don't really like, and not just take it being spoon-fed to us like, oh, these are the ports, you should be grateful, buy it now.
No, I definitely agree with that, you know, you definitely have the right to voice your opinion, and you do have the right to do that. But some of the criticism that you do give isn't going to dower your enjoyment of the video games. And again, these are games you've already played as well. Hey guys, and thank you so much for watching. If you really liked this video, please hit the subscribe button. If you didn't, but no worries, please hit the subscribe button. That'll be much appreciated. I should have said this at the start of the video, but if I look like that I'm not uploading as much as I am, I do apologize. I'm really focused on my education this year, so I'm not going to be able to upload as much videos as I can. I'm really focused on my education and personal life, so if it looks like that I'm just completely disappeared, I'm not dead. I'm just really focused on like something else, and I really need to focus on that. So yeah, but yeah, if you could subscribe, I will upload some more on here. And if you can also subscribe to my sketch channel, Don't Cry Just Laugh, that would be so much appreciated. Like, that's where my heart and soul really is. So if you guys can really subscribe to that, that would be so much appreciated. Stay safe, you guys, and we'll see you soon.